Hello, welcome to my video. This is part 3 of How to Love, so if you haven't watched one or both of the first 2 parts and are interested, you definitely should. This part does contain implied sex, topics surrounding mental instability, and talk of abusive relationships. However, I promise nothing is explicit. Also, a friendly warning, this video does contain cursing. As always, I hope you enjoy. Now on to the video.
In which Osamu goes on a friend date that takes an unexpected turn. Why does he always take so long? Osamu huffed and crossed his arms as he waited outside the front door of Suna's apartment. If not for the hazy, white lighting in the hallway, Osamu would have been enveloped in darkness. It was a chilly night, and even the hallway of the apartment building was cold. After about 2 minutes of slight shivering, the front door opened. Rin. The front door opened fully to reveal Suna, who was wearing grey sweatpants, a baggy black shirt, and a perplexed expression as he let Osamu step into his apartment. Osamu? Why'd you ask to come? Suna was interrupted by Osamu's lips crashing onto his. Osamu desperately wrapped his arms around Suna's waist and used his foot to shut the front door behind him, all the while kissing Suna messily, almost frantically. Suna let out a muffled moan as they stumbled further into the apartment and found themselves falling back onto a couch, Osamu unrelenting with his rough kisses and Suna readily accepting each one. Osamu felt all of his stresses that had accumulated over the past few days wash away, his mind falling into absolute bliss. Suddenly, Suna roughly pushed Osamu back by his shoulders. Wait. The two didn't move from their position, only staring at one another with flushed faces, red lips, and heaving chests as they tried to catch their breaths. We agreed you wouldn't come over at night. My brother is staying at my parents' for a couple of days. He won't be back until the day after tomorrow, it's fine. Suna looked up at Osamu with a slight frown. He removed his arms from around Osamu's neck and slowly sat up on the couch, beckoning Osamu to sit down beside him. The second Osamu was properly seated, Suna gently brought his arms around Osamu and cradled his head in his arms. What are you doing? Suna lowered his head a bit and whispered, his breath tickling Osamu's ear. You look like you haven't slept in days. Am I right? Osamu muttered his words into Suna's bicep. I've been living off of 3-hour naps and monsters for the past week. Thought so, you look like shit. Well, thanks. Of course. Why aren't you sleeping well? Did you pick up more hours at work or something? No. It's my brother. He hasn't been doing too well lately. He hasn't had the will or the energy to even go to classes. When I'm not working, I'm with him. Especially during the nights. God, the nights are the worst for him. He took a train up north 2 days ago to visit my parents. Mom always knew how to make him feel better in a way that I just can't. Osamu sighed and nuzzled his head against Suna's arm. I just feel I can't be there for him the way that I should. Why no? Wish I could. Suna hummed and ran a hand through Osamu's hair. Everyone has a different way of showing care and being there for someone. Sure, your mom can make him feel better in a way that you can't, but that doesn't mean you're no good at making him feel better at all. Geez, look at your eye bags, sweetheart. You've really been stressing yourself out lately, huh? Osamu raised his head slowly to look Suna in the eye. I have been. Part of me is glad that Tsumu is with our parents right now. I'm so tired. And the more tired I get, the worse of a worker and brother I'll be. Osamu groaned and rested his head on Suna's shoulder, inhaling and basking in his scent. Sorry for asking to come over out of the blue like this. I just need a break. These past few days have been nothing but rough. Osamu planted a kiss on Suna's neck. You just being here makes me feel better, though. Osamu began to pepper kisses along Suna's neck, making Suna laugh. It's been a week, you missed me that much? Osamu trailed his kisses downwards to kiss and suck at the skin exposed along Suna's collarbone and shoulder. Suna sighed contentedly and used his hands to bring Osamu's head up. As Suna leaned in to press their lips together, Osamu's eyes fluttered shut with the ephemeral dream of always being with Suna like this. Him being Suna's and Suna being his. Osamu awoke the next morning to early afternoon sunlight shining through Suna's half-closed blinds. He tried to slip out of the bed, only for Suna's arms to tighten around his waist. Osamu turned his head to look back at his lover, his heart doing a little somersault at the sight. In a word, Suna looked peaceful. Suna never made harsh facial expressions, but his sleeping face was somehow even more rested than his usual demeanor. He looked as though he were in a state of pure serenity, the sunshine peering through the blinds creating the effect of an almost heavenly fog passing over Suna's face, making him look like an angel of utmost tranquility. Osamu almost didn't want to wake him up. Rin. Osamu tugged at Suna's arms around his waist. Rin, come on, wake up. Osamu felt Suna's hold around his waist weaken and heard a soft groan from behind him. Suna's words were slightly slurred as he spoke through his grogginess. Why? Sweetheart, why? It's so early. I'm pretty sure it's past noon. It's past noon my ass. I just wanna sleep, let me be. Fine, just let go of me, will ya? Suna removed his arms from around Osamu's waist, allowing Osamu to pull off the bed covers and step out of the bed. Osamu heard Suna make an odd sound that made him turn around, only to see Suna staring at his naked body with wide eyes. Osamu frowned in embarrassment from Suna's intense gaze and quickly turned around to pick up his clothes. You don't gotta look at me like I'm some specimen. Why no? Well, I'm feeling pretty awake now. Say, you don't work today, right? Nah, just weekdays. Really? We both have completely free Saturdays. I thought you had a Saturday class. No. Well, not anymore at least. I took the accelerated option, so I finished 2 weeks ago. Wanna hang out today, sweetheart? Hang out? Sure. Suna chuckled as he lay back in his bed. Why'd you react like that? It's just that I can't remember the last time we hung out, so yeah, question caught me off guard. What? We hang out all the time. Hangout's where we keep our clothes on. Never mind then. Osamu snorted as he shook his head. You seriously wanna hang out though? Yes. Friends can, you know, hang out and stuff. The thing was, Osamu wasn't sure if he could consider Suna a friend. Yes, he valued Suna and cared for him deeply, and he knew it was the same for Suna. But their friendship label had always come with a with benefits tag stuck onto it. Now that Osamu thought about it, was it even normal for fuck buddies to hang out like old pals? Was it okay if they made that part of their normal? Between their arrangement and his growing feelings, Osamu really couldn't pinpoint what exactly Suna was to him. I know, you're friendless and don't really know how this friendship thing works. Oh, shut up you ass. Don't get all bitchy because you can't handle the truth. Yeah, keep telling yourself. The pair's playful bickering was cut short by a low growl. ... Was that your stomach? That was my stomach. Osamu laughed unapologetically while Suna buried his face into his pillow. Shut up, it's not even funny. Osamu's laughter eventually died down into snickering as he sat down at the edge of Suna's bed. Want me to make something? Homemade cooking? Yes, please, my arteries are tired of takeout. Why no, that wouldn't be an issue if you just learned how to cook. Suna brought a finger to Osamu's lips. SHH. I wanna eat 𝘵𝘢𝘲𝘓. 𝘵𝘓𝘓? I'm surprised you even know what that is. I follow this one guy on Instagram that eats food from all over the world. He posted a picture of it and it looked so damn good. Well, that would take a bit. Do you even have the ingredients for that? No. But we can, you know, go to the store. We'll shower, eat, go to the store and buy all the stuff we need for the 𝘵𝘢𝘲𝘓. Come back here, cook it, and boom, successful hangout. Except I'm probably going to do all the cooking. No, I'll help. Who are you lying to? No one, since it wasn't effective, I guess. In any case, sounds good to me. You can shower first while I make some breakfast. Lunch? Brunch? PFFT. Suna rose from his bed and stretched out his arms. Alright, it's a date then. Osamu's eyes widened as he watched Suna leave the room, unaware of the impact his words had on Osamu. Rin. Yeah? I thought we were going to the store. We are? This is a gas station. I wanted to make a pit stop. Osamu sighed loudly as Suna parked his car. Why are we here when you're not even getting gas? Because. Osamu awaited Suna's answer as they stepped out of the car. Cuz. ... They have really nice slushies here. Rin, we just ate 10 minutes ago. I know, but man, I'm just craving all kinds of shit today. Osamu shook his head and let out another sigh as he begrudgingly followed Suna to the entrance of the convenience store at the gas station. Sweetheart, you're walking way too slow. Suna reached behind him and grabbed Osamu's hand, practically dragging him into the convenience store. Okay, we're just getting slushies, then we're out of. No way. Osamu suddenly ran into a nearby aisle, jerking Suna forward and pulling him along. Osamu, sheesh, a warning would be nice. Yeah, sorry. Osamu wasn't paying any attention to Suna, instead staring at the shelves in front of him stacked with the same yellow, green, and brown boxes. They restocked the Kinoko no Yama. Suna blinked. What? That's what made you run like that? I eat at least 2 boxes of this thing a week. I haven't found any here or other local stores for 2 weeks, and the delivery dates from online ordering were too far away. I've been suffering from withdrawals. Until today. Osamu picked up a box of the packaged chocolates and raised it above his head dramatically in triumph, making Suna lazily clap. How touching. Hush, you wouldn't understand. Definitely not. I haven't had Kinoko no Yama since middle school. Osamu lowered his arm slowly as he frowned at Suna. Middle school? That's way too long. Meh, I don't feel like I'm missing out. I'd say you are. Osamu turned around to grab 4 more boxes of chocolates before smiling back at Suna. I ought to buy you one. Gotta get you all reminiscent of the flavors of youth. Flavors of youth? You're dramatic as hell. Whoa, look at all the pudding behind us. I never even realized that they had my favorite brand of pudding here. Wait, really? That's my favorite brand too. For real? Just propose and marry me. Done and done. Yo, think they got Compito here? Maybe. 15 minutes later, Osamu and Suna strode out of the convenience store and back to Suna's car, each with a large slushy and plastic bags of junk food in tow. We went in for one thing and came out with like 20. And you were the one bitching about me making a pit stop in the first place. That is all in the past. I think we made some great purchases though, yeah? Suna chuckled as he handed Osamu the bags he was holding to find his car keys. Oh, definitely. Suna found his keys and unlocked his car doors, the two getting inside and quickly situating themselves before Suna pulled out of the parking lot and into the road. A comfortable silence was settled over them as Suna drove until a particular song played on the radio, making Suna's face scrunch up in distaste. Ugh, what the hell is this? Sweetheart, can you play something from your Spotify playlist please? Osamu was slurping loudly on his slushie with his eyes closed, not even realizing that Suna had spoken to him. Osamu? 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 Listen to the shit they're playing on the radio. Osamu's face scrunched up the same exact way Suna's had. That is damn awful. I know everyone uses some amount of auto-tune, but this song is using a little too much. Exactly. If I have to hear 10 more seconds of this, I'm steering this car off a cliff. Please don't. What? I thought you were my ride or die. The phrase ain't supposed to be literal. Oh whatever. Why know who this singer reminds me of? That kid who used his grandma's voice box for auto-tune. Suna began to laugh. That video was comedy gold. Imagine that granny waking up from her nap looking around for her lil voice box and she can't find it. And she walks into the living room to see her grandson using it for his The Box rendition. That boy was giving Travis Scott a run for his money. Remember when Travis Scott fell off the stage in auto-tune? Suna began to laugh even harder. God, I rewatched that clip about 50 times. It was so damn funny. Irene, careful. Osamu quickly reached over and righted the steering wheel, as Suna had unknowingly begun to drift into the wrong lane during his fit of laughter. You're tryna kill me. Hoops. Hoops. Sorry sweetheart, you're too fun for your own good, it's distracting. Just get us to the store alive. I will, I wanna make this 𝘵𝘲𝘢. Hey, you've made 𝘵𝘲𝘢 before right? How long does it take? About an hour and a half, but with you, probably 4. What are you trying to say? Osamu looked at Suna with a deadpan expression. That you're gonna make this a bit difficult, Rin. Don't be like that sweetheart. It's just following instructions, how hard can it be? Jumbo shrimp or regular sized shrimp? Suna and Osamu were standing in the seafood section of the supermarket. In each of Suna's hands was a bag of shrimp, Suna looking between them with furrowed eyebrows and a frown. Just get what you want, Rin. Regular is fine. After Suna placed the bag of jumbo shrimp back where he found it, Osamu began to push the cart and walk out of the seafood section, Suna walking beside him. Alright, what else do we need? Something called chorizo? Chorizo, eh? I don't think we'd find that here. Lucky for you, I have some at my house. Actually, show me the recipe. As they walked, Suna handed Osamu his phone, letting him scroll on the screen to look through the recipe. I have most of these at my house. We just need to buy some saffron, and we can cook at my place. Sounds good to me. I'd rather not burn down my apartment. Oh, so you'd rather burn down my house? I'm just about ready to take back my offer. I'm kidding, kidding. That's what you want me to believe. I'd never burn your house down. On purpose. How reassuring. Well, I've got to be honest. Suna suddenly stopped talking and grabbed Osamu's arm. Osamu. Rin. Look. Suna pointed to his left, Osamu's eyes following his arm. They were in the toy section of the supermarket, and Suna was pointing to an aisle with shelves of dolls. I'm looking. Come, I need to relive my childhood a bit. Suna pulled on the shopping cart, telling Osamu to push it and follow Suna into the doll aisle. Suna picked up a box with a fashionable boy doll inside and smiled. When my sister was younger, she used to have a ton of these. And whenever we would play with them together, I would always have 2 boy dolls be best friends and marry 2 girl dolls that were also best friends. And then I'd have the boys cheat on their wives with each other. Well, weren't you a little ray of sunshine? What? It was my regular dose of drama since my parents didn't let me watch TV until I was 10. Nah, even then you were a sadist. Your poor sister, unless she was a sadist, too. Ha. My sister eventually stopped wanting to play with me because of it. As she should. Let's keep it moving. Osamu and Suna walked through aisles of kids' toys, Osamu whistling at a couple along the way. Damn, kids' toys are just getting better and better, huh? You're telling me. Whoa, is that a lightsaber? Suna picked up a plastic toy lightsaber from one of the shelves. He clicked the button on the side of the handle to turn it on, the lightsaber emitting a warm, green light. Pointing the lightsaber dramatically at Osamu, Suna put on his most haughty, aloof voice. I challenge you to a duel. Oh. Osamu smirked and released his grip on the shopping cart before cracking his knuckles. Yeah, on. He too picked a lightsaber up from the shelf, a red light filling the clear part of the lightsaber when he clicked the button. Be prepared to lose, Rin. Osamu and Suna laughed and jabbed at each other playfully in the small area between the aisles, not caring about how they were probably in some people's way and the fact that they were 2 adults playing with toy lightsabers meant for a much younger age group. Take that. Osamu hit Suna right in the gut, making him stumble back. Oof. Suna's back hit the shelves behind him hard, causing about a dozen boxes of toys to fall from their respective shelves and clatter to the floor. ... Well dang Osamu, look what you did. Me? Yup, I think you even broke some. Well. Suna placed the lightsaber back on a newly emptied shelf and began to walk away. Rin? The toys? What are you doing? Fleeing from the crime scene. I think you should do the same. Oh, come on. At that moment, Osamu saw a security member of the grocery store walking near the aisle. On second thought, Osamu rushedly placed the lightsaber he was holding next to Suna's on the shelf before grabbing the shopping cart. Osamu sped up to Suna's side and grabbed his hand, pulling Suna and making him walk faster. I saw security back there. What? Oh nah, I'm not paying jack, let's speed this up. Hand in hand, the two speed walked away from the aisle and rushed to the spices section to find the last ingredient they needed. Osamu, I feel like security is right behind us or something. Find the saffron. Okay. Osamu scanned the shelves of spices, hands up and ready to grab the saffron like a cat waiting to pounce on its prey. Suna held onto the grocery cart and looked around to see if security was, indeed, following them. I see him, sweetheart, I see him. He's definitely looking for us. I'm on a budget, I can't pay for those expensive ass toys. Me neither. Lem help you find the saffron. Suna went to Osamu's side and began searching the shelves for the red spice. Saffron. Where is it, goddammit? Found it. Suna snatched the saffron off of a shelf and reached for Osamu's hand. Alright, come on now. Suna and Osamu practically sprinted through the store to the self-checkout section and quickly paid for the items they had picked up, looking over their shoulders in paranoia along the way. When they were done, though, they calmly strode out of the store and giggled on their way out. You should have seen your face when you were looking for the saffron. You're one to talk, you looked like you were about to piss your pants. Osamu lightly shoved at Suna's shoulder and laughed. What an adventure. Right. All that running's got me hungry. Can we start eating all the shit we got from the convenience store? Oh, and there's a cute little playground nearby. Can we go there to sit while we eat? Sure, whatever you want, Rin. Suna smiled. Nice. Suna took Osamu's hand and squeezed it, swinging their arms between them happily as they walked back to his car. Wow, so I was missing out. Told you so. Suna popped another of the Kinoko no Yama chocolates into his mouth, chewing slowly with a slight smile on his face. He and Osamu were in the playground, each sitting in a swing much too small for them as they ate the sweets they had bought earlier that day. We really shouldn't be eating all this if we're gonna cook soon. He says just after shoving a bunch of gummy worms down his throat. Shh. Suna chuckled. It'll take a while to make the 𝘵𝘢𝘬𝘴 anyway, we should be hungry by the time we're done. Besides, your stomach is a bottomless pit. True. So, how's life been? Suna began to rock slightly back and forth in the swings as he turned to look at Osamu. It's been alright, can't complain. Sleeping well? Eating well? Marking time for socializing? Yes and yes. Good to hear. How's your family doing? They're doing well. My sister went back home a couple of days ago. I was wondering about that. Miss her? Just a teensy bit. It was really nice having her come up to visit, even if it was just for 3 days. It'll probably be the holidays before I can see her again though. Until then, I'll just spam her lyrics from 𝘨𝑈𝑚U Hamasaki's songs at 2 in the morning. Not surprised. Also, do you still want a job? There's a new opening at the convenience store I work at. Oh, word? My manager really likes me, so if I tell him about you he'll probably hire you on the spot. Really? That would be great. Thanks Osamu. You're amazing. Absolutely the best. Hey, easy on the flattery, Rin. I'm deados. You're one of the coolest people I know. You're always texting me to make sure I'm doing okay and that I'm sleeping well, which I honestly need. And you're so down to earth. Whenever we just text or lay around and chat, it's never boring. You're just great. Or, Rin, you're gonna make me cry. Oh, please. We were okay friends when we agreed to be in this type of relationship, and I thought we'd always be okay friends. But seriously? You're one of my best friends now. Rin. Osamu smiled and placed his hand on Suna's shoulder. I think the same thing about you. I see you a lot differently now than I did at the start. So do I. Osamu, Water droplets falling from the sky interrupted Suna. Soon, the droplets turned into a drizzle, dampening Suna and Osamu's clothes. It's raining. Well, we should get going to my place. Osamu stood up from the swings and dusted himself off before turning to look at Suna. Oh, what were you gonna say? Suna lowered his head, tilted up to look at the sky. It's nothing. If you say so. Suna stood up and grabbed the boxes of chocolate he had placed on the ground. Well, let's go. Samu, I'm home. Atsumu's voice and footsteps echoed through the empty house as he stepped inside. He shrugged off his duffel bag and dropped it next to the front door, then he slipped off his shoes and walked further into the house. Samu? Atsumu shrugged, supposing that his brother wasn't home. After all, Atsumu wasn't expected to be home until the next day. Atsumu retrieved his bag from the front door, quickly unpacked, threw his dirty clothes into the washer, and rewarded himself with a long, much-needed shower. As he scrubbed his body, the hot water from the shower head came down on him and washed the suds away, and Atsumu only wished for his problems to rinse away just as easily. It had been over a week since he last saw sakusa. Sakusa had sent texts and calls Atsumu's way over the course of 8 days, all of them left unacknowledged by Atsumu. His mind was simply in another place. A dangerous place that he couldn't escape alone. Osamu had tried his best to help, but Atsumu needed more. Ultimately, it was a therapy session and his mother's wiseness that gave him the clarity he needed. Atsumu thought of this as he stepped out of the shower, bringing a towel to his hair and one about his waist. Deep inside, Atsumu had known that he couldn't deny the feelings that had begun to bloom for sakusa. Even so, he couldn't bring himself to face them, as the last time he felt this way about someone, immeasurable pain and hurt followed. But sakusa wasn't like them. Or at least, Atsumu hoped he wasn't. No, he knew sakusa wasn't. Though, his last relationship showed him that you may never truly know someone. With Atsumu's internal battle ever raging, he couldn't help but wonder if he would ever even be able to face sakusa again. The sound of a ringing doorbell brought Atsumu out of the labyrinth of his thoughts. He sighed and ruffled his hair with the towel a bit more before letting it rest around his neck. Once Atsumu exited the bathroom, he slipped on his fuzzy pink slippers while clearing his throat, preparing to call out to the front door. "I'm coming, gimme a sec." The person outside the door must have heard him, as the doorbell didn't ring again. Atsumu shuffled through the house to the front door, flicking on some lights in the house that was darkened by the thunderstorm outside. The soft, peaceful pattering of rain filled Atsumu's ears, growing louder as he got closer to the door. Now at the front door, Atsumu closed one eye and leaned down to peek through the peephole. His eyes widened at who he saw. Shit. His legs got wobbly, his hands a little quavery as he stumbled back a bit. Damn it. Deep breaths Atsumu, deep breaths. Atsumu took about a minute just to breathe, trying to calm himself down before he tried to open the door and face the person on the other side. After regaining most of his composure, Atsumu brought his hand to the doorknob, exhaling slowly as he turned it. In front of him stood a man wearing light-washed denim jeans and a dark amethyst hoodie. One of his arms was raised, holding an umbrella that kept his attire and his tight, black curls dry. The white surgical mask covering him from his nose to his chin didn't hide the sheer shock and relief written all over his face. Atsumu and the man just stood and stared at each other for a good 10 seconds, the pitter-patter of the rain being the only sound between them. The man spoke first, clutching the handle of his umbrella a bit more as if to tell himself this was reality. "Mia." When Atsumu didn't respond, Sakusa continued to speak. "I may be overstepping my boundaries by coming here. No, I know I'm overstepping my boundaries by coming to your house. But I was." Sakusa cleared his throat. "I was concerned about you. Really concerned. You weren't answering my messages, and you weren't showing up in the mornings. I mean, obviously that meant you were busy or whatever was occupying you made you need space. But I just wanted to make sure nothing seriously bad had happened to you." Atsumu blinked a couple of times. When he spoke, it was in a quiet voice. "You really didn't have to come check up on me. I wanted to. Is that okay? ... Yeah. It's more than okay." Atsumu moved out of the way to make way for Sakusa. "You can come inside." "Thanks." Sakusa stepped inside Atsumu's house as he closed his umbrella, shaking it off through the front door before bringing it inside as well. As Sakusa took off his shoes at the Genkan, Atsumu opened and closed his mouth a few times beside him. "Mia." Atsumu shut his mouth. "If you want to say something, just say it." Atsumu sighed and ran a hand through his hair, placing his other hand on his hip. "I've been having this personal struggle. And, I wasn't doing too hot 'cause of it. I'm better now though, so we can get back to having our morning meets and such." "That's nice to hear." Sakusa put his hands on his knees and rose. He turned and stepped closer to Atsumu, hovering over him a bit. "Mia." A shiver ran down Atsumu's spine at the way Sakusa had said his name. "Are you really better?" Atsumu let out a shaky breath and averted his gaze. "Well, more like I'm doing better." Sakusa stepped back from Atsumu. "You know I'm always here." Atsumu felt a pang in his heart. If only Sakusa wasn't the reason he was like this. Atsumu forced out a thank you and showed Sakusa to his living room, seating him down on the couch. Want water? Juice?" "No thank you, I'm alright." "Okay. Well, been up to anything lately? Other than school?" "Mentally preparing myself for the new set of dates my parents set up for me that I never asked for." Sakusa sighed. "I went on the first one 2 days ago." "Yeesh, how did that go?" "It went fine. She could tell pretty early on that I didn't want to be on that date, so we could chat and enjoy ourselves without the need for romance to be attached." "You don't look relieved at all, though." "Your parents know how the date went?" Sakusa shook his head. "I've put off telling them, but they'll be asking soon." Sakusa went quiet, lowering his head and looking down at his lap. "Sakan?" Atsumu walked around the couch and slowly sat down next to Sakusa. I feel like there's something else bothering you. What is it? I've just been thinking about how much easier things would be if I told my parents about my sexuality. I know nothing good would come out of it, but I'm so damn tired of these pointless dates. I'm wasting my time and the time of every woman they've set me up with. These dates. They've just been setting them up at their leisure for the past couple of years and it's driving me to insanity. It's all building up like pressure and I'm going to explode. I'm so exhausted, I just want to tell them and get it over with. But, then again, I'm not exactly ready for their reaction, and I'm not too elated about the idea of getting disowned. Don't. Atsumu placed a hand on Sakusa's shoulder. Don't do anything you're not ready for. I know the date's gotta suck, but don't come out to your parents if it's something you really don't have the heart to do, especially if it'll put you in a really bad position. I knew since I was little that I just, liked people, but I never told anyone about it. I didn't even know what the word queer was and all about the LGBTQ community until I was 16. And even then, I didn't feel comfortable with coming out until I was 18. My point is, Saken, it can take a lifetime to be ready to come out. You may never feel ready to come out. And really? That's alright, as long as you're accepting of yourself. And if you do ever feel ready to come out to your parents, I'm here to back you up. Thank you, Mia. Why, of course Saken. So you're not straight. ... Atsumu scowled, hastily taking his hand off of Sakusa's shoulder as though it were a hot stove. Are you kidding me? I'm offended. Have I not told you I'm queer? No. ... If you say that you thought you did, I swear. I seriously thought I did. You imagined it. I mean, I had my suspicions. But you never said anything about it, so I didn't want to assume. Atsumu slapped his own forehead. No wonder you barely talk to me about sexuality stuff. If you were straight, I'd assume you wouldn't understand in the way that I needed someone to. Oops, sorry about that. Sakusa turned away and muttered under his breath. Idiot. Hey. Atsumu slapped Sakusa's shoulder, making Sakusa snort. You're the first person I've ever met that's not straight. I'm not surprised to hear, given where we live. How does it feel, eh? Sakusa turned back around, and Atsumu could see the skin at the corner of Sakusa's eyes crinkle. A sign that he was smiling under his mask. Feels like I'm not as alone anymore. I'm glad it's you. ... That sounded weird. Atsumu giggled and shook his head. No, I'm glad it's me too. Out of nowhere, Sakusa made a strangled sound. Atsumu tilted his head in confusion. What's the matter? Your towel is slipping a bit. Eh? Atsumu looked down at himself to see his towel undoing itself and slipping further and further down his body. He then remembered that he had opened the front door right after getting out of the shower, and his cheeks turned a light shade of ruby at the realization that he was practically naked. Holding onto the towel, Atsumu abruptly stood from the couch and re-wrapped it around his waist. I'm going to my room to get dressed. Sakusa stood up from the couch and looked at Atsumu with amusement. Are you gonna follow me? PFFT, what the hell? No. I didn't wash my hands off when I came in, so I wanted to do that. You can wash your hands at the kitchen sink. It's right behind us. Atsumu let Sakusa walk in front of him as they made their way around the couch and towards the kitchen. On their short path, however, Atsumu made a sudden misstep and tripped over himself. Gah. Sakusa turned around at the sound, eyes widening when he saw Atsumu falling forward. Mia. Atsumu fell onto Sakusa, making Sakusa fall as well. Sakusa's back hit the floor with a thud. Ow. Sakusa's arms were wrapped around Atsumu, whose face was only centimeters above his. Atsumu felt his face and his chest get warm, the tips of Sakusa's ears turning a deep red. At that moment, Atsumu heard the sound of footsteps and rustling grocery bags. He and Sakusa dared to turn their heads to the side to see Osamu and Suna standing right in front of them. Osamu looked between Atsumu and Sakusa with a frown. What the fuck? Sunu? Wait, no, it's a misunderstanding. Suna let out a low whistle. Well, this is an interesting way to meet the family.